gamers? So today on Dice and Dragons we're doing something a little different. This is going to be a special video, and we are definitely going to be starting off with talking about the new game that was just recently funded on Kickstarter, Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. Julie and I were at New York Comic Con, as you can see, NYCC, and we got the chance to sit down and play the game for about 20 minutes. So this is going to just be us quickly talking about the game. Unfortunately, we didn't have any video of what we got to play, but we got some pictures that I'll be splicing into the video. So I'll toss it over to Julie, and she'll tell you a little bit about Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid.
So it's a cooperative game, which, got me to sit down at the table, because otherwise I would have just said, hey, Jay, you check it out, I'll go around. There's lots of books in that area of the floor, so I was being pulled a little bit.
I'm the Ranger fan. She isn't.
Yeah, I didn't grow up on it, but Jason and his friends really, and his sister really did. So in any case, to talk about the game, we were definitely playing with prototypes in the sense that, we had some cardboard pieces.
Stand-ins, yeah, we didn't have all the final art, but some of the stuff was still very good.
So what was interesting to me is that it seems it's different from other things that we've done. It doesn't seem like the same old formula as far as I'm concerned. And it really looks like you really do have to play cooperatively for this to work. So I thought it was interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing the actual pieces. They look like it's going to be interesting. And though I don't know a lot about Power Rangers, it does seem that they use, and I'll let you talk about that a little bit more. It does seem like they do use their powers well in this, which always makes me happy when an IP is well used in a game. So like Jason said, we only played 20 minutes. From what I can see, it looks like it's going to be fun, and I look forward to seeing the final game.
Yeah, so we had a good time. They definitely do use the IP well. The powers are very much related to the characters. Ironically enough, Julie was playing as Jason, so instead of Jason playing as Jason, Julie had Jason. And he's definitely the strongest. I was playing as Billy, and Billy was able to really assist Jason. And just to talk to you guys a little bit more about the game, basically what you're doing, it's a little bit like a tower defense game, but not really. Like, you've got your command center, like your home base for the Rangers, and basically the forces of Rita are invading the city, and what you're trying to do is manage the level of enemies on the different tiles. And if you don't manage it well, that's when you get in trouble. So you're going to have to deploy as a team to basically manage the putties, defeat as many of the putties and other villains as possible to save Angel Grove. Now the game is for one, so you can't play just one player, or have one player play multiple characters. 1 to 5 players in the base game. If you did pick up the expansion, it can go up to 6 players, because of course, everyone's favorite Ranger, Tommy the Green Ranger, is in the 6-player expansion. But suffice it to say, we got to play about 20 minutes of the game. And the one thing I will say, for those of you that are expecting like a very hard, challenging co-op, I don't think that's what you're going to be getting in terms of Power Rangers. I think we both agree that it was a little bit more simple than some of the other co-ops that we played.
Yep.
But I think the biggest challenge, and what Julie really liked about it, is the teamwork together, which I think means that it's something that for, if you got someone that's a Ranger fan, or even some younger kids, you'll be able to really get the game out and play, and people are going to have a lot of fun. And that's the one thing I want to stress, even though it might not be as complicated or challenging as, say, something like Zombicide, working together and chaining the powers together is the only way you're going to beat the game. So for players that don't do that very well, you know what? Maybe this is a good time to teach them how to play cooperatively. And as we were talking about the game, I know you guys got to see some images. We're looking forward to getting the game. Hopefully there'll be no delays, and it will show up in April, where you can see our first review of it. Now, I know the one that's been talking a lot here, but I'll keep going just a little bit, because I wanted to show you something that we were able to pick up at the Renegade booth. We got a quick rundown of the game, and I've gone to play it once, and I believe Julie and I are going to be playing again shortly. So this is Ghostbusters, the card game. It's going to be coming out in December, is what we were told. Just want to say thanks to Danny Lowe and the Renegade team for getting these extra copies at NYCC. Just want to know, for all you board gamers out there, they were the only board game specific booth that was there. There was no one else that we saw on the show floor that was listed. So we're going to do a special review of this. It's going to be our Halloween release. And if I'm not mistaken, Halloween's a Wednesday this year?
Tuesday or Wednesday? Yeah.
Tuesday or Wednesday. So this will be our Halloween release.
It's a Wednesday, yes.
Yeah, and then we'll have a regular release following that. So stay tuned. It's going to be good. But thanks again, Renegade, for having some stuff for board gamers at New York Comic Con. So since I've been rambling on here, let's toss it over to Julie and I'll let her pick sort of the next subject we're gonna.
So what we were thinking since since we were at NYCC, we thought we'd give you a little geek rundown of what we could expect if you don't know NYCC, if you haven't been, or if you're just curious about it.
Yeah, we can also give you guys some tips and tricks for those of you that maybe don't want to do the full con and how you should approach that as well.
So this was my second con. This is the second year in a row that we go. I really didn't know what to expect the first time. I think you guys have heard me say, if you've listened to our videos before, I consider myself geek light. I can appreciate some of the things. I don't know everything. However, I think one of the things we can say about NYCC is there's something for everyone. So I think what we'd start off by talking about is how NYCC works, just quickly. So what I can say is it's a 4-day con, Comic-Con, and you can buy tickets for each of the days or for all of them. Last year we did all 4 days. A little intense if you're trying to do it all. This year we did 2 days. This year we did Thursday and Saturday.
I think the sweet spot, like just to jump in, would have been 3 days because there was a lot of good stuff on Friday. Unfortunately, the Friday got announced late. Otherwise, I think we may have gone. We missed out on stuff like Boy Meets World. I like Voltron. So a couple of things we missed out on, but 2 to 3 days is good. I think we're just talking a little bit about last year, not the Steal Your Thunder. I think Sunday was a little bit of a letdown last year and seems to be like the more denouement of the
I think this year Sunday was a little bit better. So that being said, you never really know in advance. They do release a couple of things in anticipation, the big big shows or the big panels. So what we can tell you a little bit is Thursday is a lighter day. Not everybody, there's less people there. It's great to be able to visit the show floor because it's less busy, and you can move around a little bit more. So I think that was the one I really told Jason, yes, let's do Thursday because that was the less stressful for me, the less intense with the huge crowds around.
And the interesting thing about Thursday I found is that their really big panels seem to be early. Like this year it was Harry Potter and the Cursed Child was one of the
which
first ones.
Unfortunately we missed.
We missed because we were just arriving in New York. So one of the things we may have done differently if we knew that it was coming. Then there was one of the panels that Julie was excited about, the David Boreanaz panel. And I'll let her talk to you a little bit about the panel.
So, David Boreanaz, you might wonder what's he doing at Comic-Con. If you don't remember, I don't know where you've been hiding. He was Angel and Angelus in Buffy and Angel.
And just to jump in and let you know, they are looking at making an Angel board game similar to the Buffy game.
Interesting. So
really
when it was, I've followed David Boreanaz since Buffy. I've watched Bones religiously as well, and I'm now watching SEAL Team. So I was very excited, even though it was our honeymoon. I told Jason, I will sit in that room and be front and center to see David's panel. So it didn't disappoint. He's a very charming guy. It was a great panel. We got some sneak peeks at some of the scenes of the new SEAL Team. Jason was a trooper and sat there in the front row center with me and smiled and was generally a good sport. So that's the kind of thing
I did enjoy a lot of Buffy. I'll be honest, I haven't seen all of the seasons of Buffy, but what I've seen and the storyline I did enjoy. There was a couple of things I didn't like, but David Boreanaz was always a highlight. And I actually started to enjoy Angel a little bit more than Buffy. I like sort of the more darker nature. So I did want to try to get Julie to ask David Boreanaz a question with us being from Canada and being hockey fans. I did want to find out if Angel is a Flyers fan like all of his other characters, but just didn't get the opportunity.
No. So one of the things about New York Comic Con is that it's in several different venues. So Javits is the main hub where most things happen. The main stage is there. The show floor is there.
And just because you mentioned the show floor, not to cut you off, just want to highlight, if you want to visit the show floor, and that's where you want to spend most of your time, Thursday and Sunday will be the easiest to really experience the show floor, moving around and things like that. The disadvantages when you're on the show floor, there's a good chance you might miss lining up for one of the big panels. And just to highlight what we said again, as you saw, we had like those 2 big Thursday panels that were there. And it was the same thing for us in our previous visit. Like Michael Rooker was their big panel. It was early. And Thursday kind of goes out on a little bit of a slower note than the other days. So I'll let you finish there. Sorry.
So they also have panels simultaneously in the Hammerstein Ballroom as well as Madison Square Garden. So we made our way after we saw the David Boreanaz panels to the Origins panel at Hammerstein. And I can say I was really surprised. I knew Tom Felton, so Tom Felton is in it from Harry Potter, and if you've seen the other videos, you know that we've enjoyed some Harry Potter.
Well, but maybe not yet. This one might be hitting before those other videos. But we do like Harry Potter, just to let you guys know.
Okay, so I don't know what order he's releasing videos in. So that being said, I don't want to give away too much about it, but to me, I would describe Origin as X-Files meets Alien.
I think you're also forgetting one show, but I don't know if you watched a lot. It's got a lot of heroes in it. Not in terms of like the superpowers and things like that, but for those of you that are a big fan of Tim Kring's Heroes, the way that there was like those sort of flashbacks to how the people got their powers and things like that. So it was a little bit like that, and the creator herself said she was inspired a little bit by Lost. That was one of her favorite shows. But it does seem that she's paid attention to some of the criticism and has sort of come out and said you will find out what's going on and get a lot more information by the end of the first season. So we don't currently have YouTube Premium, but with Cobra Kai being on there, and I love myself some Karate Kid, maybe it'll be time for us to check out YouTube Premium.
Yeah, so that's, some of the panels do give out swag when you're there, so we're not wearing it. We decided to wear our New York Comic Con swag, but they also handed out some pretty cool Origins long sleeve t-shirts.
Yeah, and then the last panel was She-Ra, which is very interesting, I gotta say. They're doing a lot of really cool stuff with the show. I don't know if the animation style is gonna be for me. I think it's definitely aimed at a younger audience, but it's got some very good messaging and things like that. And the one thing that I was sort of worried about, and this is just for all you He-Man fans out there, that they were maybe like going to totally ignore like the relationship to He-Man, because I like the whole brother and sister aspect. And during the panel, like you do hear her talking, and then she says like twin sister to Prince Adam. So are they doing He-Man? I don't know. I don't care. Hopefully if they do He-Man, we'll see something cool in the future. But I did like that they're doing their own thing, but they're still, tying back into He-Man, because I like those episodes when the two of them were together. It was always a good time.
Yeah, I didn't really watch She-Ra. I was a little old by the time a little too old for it by the time it came out.
Back then, sorry to jump in, but cartoons weren't what they are now.
No, so I would catch it in the background. It would play after He-Man, which my little brother would watch, and I think it would stay on often. So I mean, I understood the concept of it and the show, but never was a huge fan of it. So but I agree with you. It looks like they've adapted it to the modern style for a new generation to appreciate.
Yep. And that was really sort of our Thursday. We ended up going to Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, so that was when we left the con, and we were not there for Friday. Now, just to give you guys an idea of what you can find at the con, giant book, all sorts of stuff in here, all sorts of panels, information on different artists, shows. The place we probably have spent the least time for us is Artist Alley, and it's a little bit disappointing that we don't get to go there, but bringing stuff back for us from Artist Alley is a little difficult, but it's something that I want to try to do if we are so fortunate enough to go to NYCC again. But Friday's a good day. If you want to go, you should try to go, but it does get busy. It does typically start a little bit later, I found. I mean, last year we were there on Friday, and it didn't get busy till about noon, 1. We had it was okay in the morning, but afterwards it was like, oh my God.
Yeah, Saturday's definitely the most intense of the days. Friday, you start getting foreshadowing of what it's going to be. I think it really depends on what time they have their panels and what's the big draw of the day for when people start coming out. I would say that most people don't go for the entire day. I think there are definitely people there all day, but I think the big masses are there in the middle part of the day.
Definitely the middle part of the day. So let's talk about Saturday.
So Saturday,
I got dragged to one specific location for her big panel. Also, this is the entire reason that we went to Comic-Con this year. We were actually passing on it, and then all of a sudden I saw the post from NYCC on Facebook that this panel was announced, and she starts cursing up a storm because we decided to skip out on the early registration, and that got announced the day afterwards. So I'll let you go into it because this is a good story.
Just to touch on this, because I wasn't aware, if you are interested in going to NYCC, you have to have a fan verified email, which means you have to have already registered. So if this is something you think you might be interested in, go check out NYCC, become a fan, because that's how you get access to the advance tickets. Now it's a lot easier.
No, not exactly. So what would happen is, let's say, for example, you have any friends that have gone to NYCC in the past. If you have a fan verified email and they happen to get tickets, they'll be able to get you like those early tickets. There's a pre-sale for everyone that's gone previously. Now, where we struggled with our original time that we went last year was you did not have your fan verified email. So even though we had the opportunity to buy tickets, she did not have a fan verified email. I could not assign her anything. So if you want to go, register, and if you are someone that's been before, just take a note, you will get an early access to go again.
Yep.
And that's a limited amount of tickets.
So that being said, NYCC communicated that Outlander was going to be was going to be a panel, and it's actually one of the things they announced early on that was going to be a draw, and it was going to be at Madison Square Garden. So one of the things about New York Comic Con that's pretty great is the stuff that's on the main stage. They clear the main stage after every panel. So typically the really big panels, you get a chance, you always have a chance to go if you want to go because people don't sit through. Other panels.
We should just mention how you can queue up for the main stage and some of the other big panels as well.
Yeah, so some of the main stage, basically everything that's on the main stage, you can go in early the day of, swipe your badge, and that basically guarantees you a seat in the panel if you're there in time for when they fill the room. You can still queue in basically after the panel before goes in. You can queue in line and you can guarantee yourself a better. But if you've tapped, then you basically get yourself guaranteed a seat.
So what you do basically, there's a queue line. You walk in, you walk through the queue. They tab you in, so they've reserved you a seat. Then you go out. So in the morning, if you have multiple panels you want to queue for, you basically kind of go in a circle like this, queue up for everything. If you're not as fortunate to have win like a lottery space, then you're going to get in. Then X amount of time before the panel, they confirm sort of who's there that's already queued. And then after that, they start taking the other people in line in the order that they showed up and scanning them in so to make sure that they don't overfill the room.
Yeah. So that's the main stage. Other panels, they don't clear the room. So basically what happened for us for Harry Potter is that people went in before and basically filled it. David Boreanaz, I pulled the same stunt on other people. I sat through a panel that I would not necessarily have been interested in, which was more manga style.
Yeah, it was the Viz panel, and we didn't really mention it, but Adi Shankar was there, which was a pleasant surprise, talking about Castlevania. And I noticed you actually did enjoy that part and the way he was talking about Hollywood and some of the things he didn't like about Hollywood. So it was a good panel too.
So that being said, we sat through half of that one. Didn't mean much to me. I didn't know who this person was, but I was, as Jason said, I was entertained by that portion of the panel, and Jason appreciated a little bit more of it, having a little bit more history with manga.
Manga, Sailor Moon. That was the only thing that you recognized.
Yeah, from my bookstore days.
Oh, there was also the new manga that's turning into an anime, and I'm blanking on the name. But if you guys are curious, it was drawn by someone in France, so it's a French manga. Same style, it's becoming an anime, and everyone in Japan and the people working on it were very excited about the upcoming anime, as were the people from Viz. And his name's Tony, and I'm blanking on the last name right now, unfortunately.
Vincenze, something like that.
Yeah, it's like Tony Vincente, but check it out. It's a shonen manga. It might be worthwhile. So back on topic.
So the other panels don't clear, so you have to sometimes figure out, you have to go through to an earlier panel. Same thing with Hammerstein and same thing with Madison Square Garden. They obviously cannot clear Madison Square Garden between panels.
And it's the theater, the Hulu theater at Madison Square Garden, not the...
Yeah. So they announced that Outlander was going to be at Madison Square Garden, and I thought, oh no. Because it was on the same day as The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead was the panel afterwards. So I thought, Was
it the afterwards, or there was one more in between?
No, it was right afterwards. So lucky for us, the way it was stacked turned out great, because what ended up being announced at Madison Square Garden turned out to be a great day for us to be participating in. We had Daredevil, we had Good Omens,
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, excited you more than me, but
and Star Trek Discovery was there as well, and that was the second time we saw the Star Trek Discovery panel.
So I guess the first one we saw was Good Omen.
Yeah, and very nice surprise by NYCC. The person monitoring the panel was quite a special treat.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Whoopi Goldberg was announced as the one managing the panel. Everyone was surprised, like a ginormous round of applause for her, because she's a big Neil Gaiman fan. So for those of you that know Neil Gaiman, he was there. It was awesome.
So we also had the pleasure of having the actors that were there. So Michael Sheen, and why do I blank on his name?
John Hamm.
And no, the other one.
David Tennant.
David Tennant.
David Tennant as Crowley, for those of you that are Good Omens fans, nails it.
So I didn't know the book. Shame on me. I don't know all sci-fi books. But one of the things that I actually ended up doing I will. So one of the things I ended up doing during the break between the panels is I went online and I bought the ebook so that I can read it. And it's one of the things I'm planning on doing, because this, at least the show, John Hamm is great. The three actors are great, honestly. Yep. I am looking forward to this. Again, this is on...
There's some great actresses there too, but I'm blanking on their names, because David Tennant and by far John Hamm kind of stole the show. And you can't, like Michael Sheen as Aziraphale with that white hair, you just can't forget him.
Yeah. So check it out. I think it's going to be great. This is also on a streaming service. This one is on
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So the nice thing about Prime, you do get free shipping. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there, specifically board gamers, that may be watching this whole thing and be like, you're promoting Amazon with all the counterfeiting of games. Look, I'm not promoting Amazon. I'm just telling you, it's going to be on Prime.
Yep. So this is actually one of the things they handed out, basically just a journal for Good Omens. So we were pretty excited about that too.
And the name of the journal is, for those of you that are Good Omens fans, it's the name of Agnes Nutter's book. So as Julie hasn't read the whole story and I'm in the midst of going through the audiobook, I know what it is, but let's not have any spoilers and we'll move on to the next one.
So Daredevil,
You're skipping Spider-Man.
Oh, because I skipped it in real life too. No, I was sat through it. I am not the biggest Spider-Man fan. If you've watched any of our videos, you know he's not my favorite superhero. So I'm going to let Jason talk about it.
So Into the Spider-Verse, we got to see the first 35 minutes. It was very interesting having Lord and Miller there, as well as all of the voice actors.
Now, don't forget, you swore not to say anything specific about it except what you thought about it.
Yes, so how I'm going to say is Sony, as we remember now, to make a good Spider-Man movie. Now this looks very interesting, and you're going to notice, and if you pay attention to the trailers, there are some sort of like inconsistencies if you're thinking that this is based on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. For those of you that are comic book fans and know what Spider-Verse is, you can all Google it. It's not going to spoil the movie, but this is definitely the Spider-Verse with a bunch of different Spider-Men and Spider characters. And so far it looks very good, but it's quite clear that you got Miles Morales and a version of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in this. And I can say is after the first 35 minutes, which is about a third of the movie, I can say you should definitely go see it. And after hearing Lord and Miller talk, I kind of know why they got the boot on Star Wars. The way that they talked about how they decided to film and do the art style without necessarily checking things with Sony, kind of explain what happened a little bit on Solo. But we'll move on from there. And for those of you that are curious and want more info, you can check out almost all of the panels at NYCC.com. They are streamed online, but there is spoilers for Into the Spider-Verse. The voice actor for Miles Morales accidentally spoiled it live.
So that after that was Daredevil. So I think Daredevil was I didn't catch the first season when it actually came out. Jason, the second season was coming out, and Jason was talking to me about it. I think we had just started dating. I really liked Daredevil. That introduced me to a different kind of TV comic book type experience, and this season looks amazing. Now, I know it's already out. Some of you may have already watched them all. But it looked, we got to see part of the first episode, and it looks amazing.
Oh, no, just a great experience to be there with all the cast, especially what we saw in some of the later previews of the Kingpin. I gotta say, Daredevil season 3, keep your eye out for it. It's looking awesome.
Yep.
And then we have it was Star Trek Discovery. So I'll let you talk a little bit.
Excuse me. You got
A little bit
there.
about Star Trek Discovery, what you thought of the panel, because just so everyone knows, we share very much the same opinion of season 1. It just wasn't for us. It didn't quite feel like Star Trek. Some of the visual choices, I get why they did it. They tried to brush it off a little bit, but it was kind of funny because they got a lot more technical questions than I thought they were going to get from fans, basically being like, are you going to fix this? They're like, well, here's the reason that we did it our way, but you guys are right. We're going to fix some of the visual style up a little bit.
Yeah, I think, so Jason said, we watched the first 4 or 5 episodes of the first season and decided it wasn't for us. The panel was coming. We knew we weren't going to be leaving because the next panel afterwards was Outlander. So we were intrigued. It looks like they realized that they alienated a fair bit of Star Trek fans. I've watched all the other iterations of this, and I was disappointed by Discovery. It looks like this is going to be more in line with what I've come to love about Star Trek.
It seems like they're still keeping some of the darker, more mature tone of it, which is one of the things that we liked about Discovery. But for us, I think we felt that they just took it too far. And I think the one thing that we really agreed on, we missed the hope and the captain. And for those of you that have seen Star Trek Discovery, there's a reason for the captain being the way it is. Those of you that haven't, that's what I'm just saying. But seeing Anson Mount and just the way he talked about his character, Captain Pike, seeing a couple of the things that sort of happened on the bridge, it was just like, you know what? It felt like they're bringing back that Starfleet captain, what we saw a lot in the beginning of Discovery with Michelle Yeoh, that was quickly missing from the show. So I'm hopeful that season 2 will actually get into it and maybe inspire us to go back and actually watch season 1.
Yeah.
And I just want to apologize for that quick cut there. This video is taking a little bit longer than we planned, and the camera cut out without giving us any warning. So we are back, and we're going to talk about our last panel, or the last one that we attended. We did not make it to the Walking Dead panel, but we did make it to Julie's favorite, Outlander. So I'll toss it over to Julie, let her talk about it, because I'm not a big period piece fan. So westerns, pirates, just not my thing, which is why I'm not a big fan of the show. Not critiquing the quality, it's just not for me.
Neither in this show, but okay.
It's a period piece. It's colonial. It's just not for me.
So I was looking forward to this. I've met Diana Gabaldon before. I've had her sign some of my books. I was really into this, especially since I had been worried that Outlander wouldn't accurately represent my vision of the book. And I found that they did. They've done a great job with the first 2 seasons, and I've been looking forward to the 3rd. So
this is the 4th. You just haven't.
Oh, right. Sorry, the 4th. Yes. So
I guess I do know something about the show for you ladies and gents out there.
He's seen me buy the series on Blu-ray. Yes. So the panel itself had Sam Heun, don't know how to say his name, sorry, Katrina Balfe, as well as the actress that played Brianna and her
the actor that plays her husband.
Yeah. So we didn't get a lot of dialogue, which I missed. I would have liked to have hear a little bit more from them. I think we got about 20 minutes, maybe half an hour. The reason being, they showed us the first full episode of season 4. It did not disappoint. Jason bravely sat through it. Like he said, it's not his thing. But this season looks like it's going to be as good or better as the others. They're now in America, or what will be the United States. It's still hard hitting. It's still, not afraid to talk about the difficult subjects. And that first episode is intense. So
and what book is it based on?
It's based on the Drums of Autumn. So it's like I said, beginning right before the creation of the United States. Don't miss it. If you've watched the others, this one is amazing. If you've probably seen the previews, if you do like it. Anyways, it was amazing to meet them. They were very. It was a good panel, anyways, and this episode was amazing. So that being said, when we were done at MSG, I didn't want to sit through The Walking Dead. I wanted something other than hot dogs for dinner, so we left and let the Walking Dead fans take our seats.
Yeah, and we got there early. Just for you guys that don't know, when we were there last year, MSG never got like packed. This year, like they used
We
the
never
full...
went on the Walking Dead day.
Yes, we did. We only saw for one of the panels. Then we left, and then Sammy G, because he was with us, ran back as he's the Walking Dead fan. Now, what was your favorite panel out of everything that we saw at Comic-Con?
Well, for me, it's still Outlander. That was the one thing I was, really looking forward to going to.
But it wasn't a great panel, like you said. It was great content, but it wasn't the best panel,
It was
say.
still great content. Other than that, my big surprise, it was Good Omens.
Yeah, Good Omens, hands down, stole the show. I think it's something that we are very excited about. And we're definitely going to be watching Good Omens.
Yeah. So the other thing we discovered right near our hotel is the Beer Authority.
Yes, and one of the reasons why we have this here is because, and we'll take it and show you guys right before we reveal and grab our drinks, is this awesome menu, completely themed for Comic-Con. I mean, heck, we've got Thanos tacos. Hell yes, I definitely want some Thanos tacos. You can also see they've got this really cool combo, and that was really what brought us in the door. We actually bought one of these at the swag shop, but as you can see, NYCC's got their official beer, the Brooklyn Defender IPA, and at the Beer Authority, it was $20 for a burger, an actual beer, and the glass instead of just $10 for the glass. So we wanted to give them a shout out. They do some cool stuff during Comic-Con, and you should definitely check them out. Now, not sure what's going to be showing up above our heads. There'll be some videos. I might let YouTube decide which one's for you guys. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed hearing our thoughts on things like this, please let us know. We'll try to do some more videos like this if there's some interesting local conventions in the future. So we're going to grab our drinks, grab our best friend.
Yeah, this definitely isn't as good as the Defender.
No, it's definitely not as good as Defender IPA. Unfortunately, you can only get that in Brooklyn. And don't forget, guys, keep playing games and keep geeking out.